Welcome back to the Art Studio. So last week we worked on creating landscapes with one-point perspective. Used a focal point where that became the vanishing point, and you created these rays where objects in the foreground were taller, and as they moved farther back they got smaller visually. Well, today you have a task. You're going to take that landscape, that was your rough draft, and now you're going to start to add organic objects into it. All right, so today you're going to select and manipulate the correct tools, and you're going to have to grab materials from outside, kind of like a little scavenger hunt. And then you're going to demonstrate knowledge concepts in tool manipulation, and you're going to use materials, tools, and spaces responsibly. So if you are going foraging for organic matter, make sure mom, dad, or wherever you are living is okay with you grabbing some objects, whether it's gravel, whether it's grass, tips of trees. So see if you can find them on the ground first before you start going in and altering the vegetation. Okay, so now you're going to create a series of images. So you've created your rough draft, you're moving to this draft, and eventually there's going to be a final draft. All right, so let's think about last week's activity, which we just reviewed. Think about how you drew the landscape with a one-point perspective. You will now go out and you'll forage or find some organic material that you're going to add to your composition. All right, so you can collect sticks, stones, leaves, grass, mulch, whatever you can find that's organic, and you're going to assemble those in those objects into your landscape. So let's take a look at what Miss Nikki did last week. We had a focal point. We had rays that we created so that our objects are going to get smaller as they go back. All right. I'm going to use some rough draft paper in my design. All right. I am going to create a horizon line back here. The light whisper. I'm going to create my road line. Remember how it gets smaller as the farther back it goes. All right, so here it is. I'm going to create that sidewalk line, or that road line. There's my road line. Comes the sidewalk. All right, now my trees are going to have to get staggered. I'm going to add a boulder in the foreground. I'm going to start to add stones, and they're going to get smaller as we go into the background, the side of the road. And over here, if you recall, I had my kind of power lines, and they kind of receded back and they got smaller. So there's my smaller one. So these rocks might be a little too big. It might look like the Colorado mountains right now. All right, and then you're going to start adding some trees, which you might have to use scissors, and you may have to cut them down to show that these trees are getting smaller as they move farther back. Okay, maybe you want to add a little more texture. So this might be too big, but maybe I want to add that as a bush coming out onto the road. Okay, so I'm adding texture. I've got lines with pencils. I might go in and add a smaller power line here. Back here, I might add the sunset. Here's the sun setting. Maybe I'm going to add a horizon line where there's a mountain back here. I don't know if you have mountains in Buffalo, but if you want to get creative, you can start to add in other designs. Maybe you want to keep one of your trees that you drew last week, so maybe you'll put that back in there. It'll be a little shorty, and that's fine. Where do you want to put your clouds? So let's add some of those clouds back in. Maybe you want to run some of those clouds off your paper, make it a little more exciting. So this is what I'm looking for in your composition. I want you to have fun with this. I want you to start building in. Make sure that you have things happening in the background. Make sure you have things happening in the foreground. Make sure that things are getting smaller the farther back they go. And then when you're done, snap a picture. Send it in. All right, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, you know where to find me. There's always office hours and supplemental resources. You can always email me as well. And if you're looking for extra credit, don't forget to go into that stream and do your weekly din. Take care. Bye-bye. Signing off. Stay healthy. Stay creative.